to everyone. Tere, is it correct? Okay.
Tere, tere.
Again?
Tere.
Tere, yes, and dzień dobry in Polish. As Senate representative, I am very honored to be invited to this conference, and I would like to thank our hosts and their team for giving me the opportunity to share with you some facts, figures, experience and thoughts about the potential for accessible tourism. Before I start my presentation, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Małgorzata Tokarska. I have always had a passion for traveling, and I decided to establish the first licensed travel agency for disabled people, focused on support services for disabled tourists, particularly for people with motor problems like me. I am also dealing with incoming tourists, so invite people to Poland. The idea of setting up this type of business was born after visiting Australia 10 years ago. While I was there, I used the agency, which was run by a disabled man. At that stage, I thought that if he could do it, why shouldn't I try to do the same? Being disabled myself, I'm fully aware of all requirements for this group of people. Slide 2. INAT and its mission. I would like to give you some brief explanation. The organization, the European Network for Accessible Tourism. It is an international non-profit association for business and organization that aim to be front runners in the study, promotion and practice of accessible tourism. Our mission is to make European tourist destination products and services accessible to all visitors and to promote accessible tourism across the globe. Slide 3. Our members can be found in more than 30 countries and 6 continents. They are from Europe, Africa, North and South America, Asia and Australia. 55% of members represent the tourist business. Among them are tour operators, transport specialists and other providers. 12% of members come from the public sector, and the last group come from the NGOs organization. Slide 4. First, I will speak about accessible tourism. I will try to explain what it is, why and how both business and visitors will benefit from accessible offers with regard to the whole range of elements in tourism. Next, I will highlight some facts and figures that are important in order to understand why accessible tourism today really is a market to invest in. I will mention some of the challenges and trends and look into the market potential, demographics, and the human rights issues. I will also look at the role of marketing, its potential for helping to shape development in this sector. I will talk about favorite destination chosen by customers, by my customers, and what makes them select certain places. These observations are supported by my personal experience while organizing the trips. In my presentation, I would like to talk about the main barriers to success in tours for all. I will shortly mention the EU Access City Award, INAT and European initiative, which should be popularized widely. Finally, I would suggest that strong marketing, the choices of destination, and the provision of safe and secure environment are vital to success. Slide 5. Accessible tourism facts and figure. 80 million people with various disabilities live in Europe. The total potential travel market of people who need good access are estimated to be more than 133 million tourists in Europe alone, according to the survey made in 2005. At the global level, the number is estimated to be 600 to 900 million tourists. Slide 6. What is accessible tourism? If we ask what is accessible tourism, a good description refers to the design of travel offers that combine popular venue with ideal accessible facilities which have the potential to attract the largest possible number of visitors. It is not about creating a specialized niche market of disability tourism, but the aim is to open up existing business and make offers that increase demand and satisfy many customers' needs. Tourists who have a greater need for good accessibility have to face a number of challenges, such as where and how to find accessible tourist offers, venues and destinations, how to make the reservation, how to organize travel needs, how to find suitable accommodation, how to get required services. Slide 7. I would like us to look at slide 7 with the photos and note the extraordinary performance of tourists who are either disabled or elderly. For example, they participate in adventure and extreme sports like reaching really high mountain peaks, skydiving, riding a balloon, and expeditions to the North Pole. I myself explored New Zealand alone, crossing 2 islands last February. Doing these things, disabled people want to prove to themselves that in spite of their disability, they can do the same activities in the same manner as able-bodied tourists. They just need to have some special conditions and arrangements. We also should bear in mind that traveling for disabled people, it is also a social therapy, and means being active gives them a chance to leave their homes and to prove to themselves that they are able to travel as able-bodied tourists do. Slide 8. Can I have slide 8? Everyone needs good access. We should bear in mind that not only people with a visible disability are in need of good accessibility. Everyone can benefit from good accessibility, including young and old, parents with small children, people with a permanent or temporary disability, and even those carrying heavy luggage. Around 30% of people have a disability that is invisible. Good accessibility is essential for 10% of the population and increases the comfort for 100% of the population. Therefore, we should remember that the barrier-free environment for all visitors provides comfort and adds value to each experience, not only for disabled people. Slide 9. When do customers need accessible tourism? The visitor journey chain shows that good access must be part of every stage of the journey, beginning from booking the trip, arranging transport through the hotel, food and drink activities and excursions, and even to sharing the experience with others when returning home. Again. That's why excellent accessibility should be an integral element into every type of tourist experience. Slide 10. Okay, that's okay. Accessible tourism includes, according to European Network for Accessible tourism must include information accessible to all, marketing, booking system, online services, transport by land, by air, sea, suitable for all users. Next slide. Accessible tourism includes infrastructure and facilities that makes available participation in tourism by everyone and high-quality services delivered by trained staff. If one of the chain is missing, then the experience will not be fulfilling. INAT members address all these areas in their work. Among the 4 key trends presented in a report from Accenture in the aging population. Aging population is the most is the aging population. This is identified as one of the most significant important social trends that also is the major driver behind the increasing demand for accessible tourism. The shape of the population has changed, and with society is changing and will change even more. Older people will soon make up 25% of the European population. In Italy, for example, people 60 years old or older will be 40% of the population in 2030. Disability increases with age, but older people do want to travel. Focusing on accessibility is a rational response to foreseen changes in the tourism market and massive economic opportunity for the tourism sector. Slide 14. Appropriate, effective and targeted marketing strategies are essential if we are to succeed in our promotion of tours for disabled clients. Potential travelers need to be absolutely certain that the destination will be safe, healthy, comfortable, secure, interesting and will provide value for money. Many agents devote much time, slide 14. Many agents devote much time, effort, expense and thoughtful preparation, feeling satisfied that the access factor within the tours they offer are now greatly improved. And then find that the added accessibility still does not attract enough customers. We must ask ourselves why this is so. One more element is missing: really good marketing. Success requires access to excellent services combined with adequate advertising delivered in the appropriate manner. Provision of good services reinforced with good promotion go together, just like hands and gloves. Each one is dependent on the other for success. Slide 15. When marketing your product, something is missing. Yeah. Using a website, consider text size, contrast, voice function, easy navigation. Okay. I have been operating my travel agency, Accessible Poland Tours, for almost 4 years now, and I would like to share some thoughts with you concerning my clients' choice and destinations. These people have mostly shown a strong interest in engaging with culture-focused activities, in addition to strong support for city breaks over a period of around 5 or 6 days. Up to now, I have organized and conducted very successful tours to Paris, Barcelona, Budapest, Rome, Vilnius, and Toscana. This type of tour requires planning in a logical, client-focused manner. The local guide with the required language skills, the location of adopted toilets, and purchase of the required range of tickets are all located, assessed, and finally selected well in advance of the tour dates. Whenever it is possible, I choose aircraft as the means of transport to the tour destination. In this manner, I can assure that the journey is completed in comfort. Following our arrival, I hire an accessible coach or bus, depending upon the number of clients in my group, However, there are exceptions. In my last tour 2 weeks ago to Barcelona, I chose taxis to transport us to venues within the city itself. We used coach travel for the airport transfers only. My clients are normally not affluent persons. I therefore seek out budget-style accommodation, which often includes good quality hostels. This presents another challenge, to find sufficient number of accessible rooms. My tour groups are brought together by travel office. The group are small, about 12, 18, and include 4 to 6 wheelchair users. On most occasions, disabled tourists travel in the company of another person. It is not unusual for my groups to include wheelchair users who are traveling alone and manage well without the assistance. I locate a small number of local volunteers to assist the single travelers that need to be pushed, usually from among the Polish people, try to find volunteers. In this manner, I eliminate the extra client expense associated with the employment of a pusher traveling full-time with the groups. On other occasions, I organize larger groups, 40, 50 people, persons, in cooperation with foundations or associations that support the disabled, on request commission. The arrangement for these large groups to reach the destination by aircraft may present additional challenge. Airlines may not accept the required number of wheelchairs to be carried on board. I arrange for traveler in a regular coach or depending upon the request or adopted vehicle for journey to the destination. It is usual for these larger groups to select Polish tourist attractions, and the group's expenses are often supported by EU money contributed from a range of projects. On many occasions, visiting a neighboring country is favored. For example, in July this year, I'm going to Berlin and Potsdam. I will have 23 wheelchairs plus carers, and of course, we are going by coach. Slide 17. Other groups seek a more independent approach. Maybe traveling by aircraft or private car, the clients are usually part of family group or a number of friends traveling together, and arrange with me to organize access to suitable accessible accommodation and the package of support facilities required. On a number of occasions, clients choose to visit holiday resorts located within Poland itself and choose the same accommodation for the whole of their visit. Staying in one holiday resort may be connected with rehabilitation process. Slide 18 shows some photos from accessible trips organized by me, by my office. Okay. The main barriers to success in tourism for all. Psychological aspects, fear of the unknown when visiting the destination, and the second aspect, material. Lack of accessible airport transfers, but I think that it's not so bad. Even in Tallinn, the airport and the service for disabled people is excellent here, compared with Barcelona, for example. Lack of wheelchair accessible vehicles, that's the main problem. Lack of well-adopted hotel rooms, especially with twin rooms. I just don't know why accessible rooms are have only one double bed, not twin beds. If I travel with disabled people who don't know each other, they don't really want to be put in one bed. Sometimes maybe yes, but sometimes not. Lack of professional staff capable of dealing with accessibility issues. Lack of reliable information about a specific attraction level of accessibility. Lack of adopted toilets in restaurants and other public places. That's the main problem as well. Lack of technical aids and disability equipment such as wheelchairs, bath chairs, toilet raises, scooters. Slide 20. Human rights must be respected in tourism sector. The disabled people have the right to travel without barriers, visit and discover other cultures, to integrate with other people socially as able-bodied tourists do. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities from 2007 has been ratified by all states within the European Union, and the UK, Spain, Portugal and others have adopted the principle of non-discrimination and equal participation by persons with disabilities. An equal access agenda will now be an essential element within the service provision with the tourist sector and an ability to meet the range of legal responsibilities. Providing equal access to goods and services will be a must for all service providers, including those in tourist sector. Slide 21. 21, yes? 21? Yes. EU Access City Award, European initiative. One of the European initiatives to improve accessibility is a competition for the most accessible city in Europe called the Access City Award. It is open to all EU cities of over 50,000 inhabitants. We should note that it isn't an award for tourism. It is more for cities which provide facilities for those residents with disability. However, visitors coming to the city who have a disability can gain much from the improvements. There are 4 areas taken into consideration for the award. Cities must submit a dossier which describes their achievements in physical accessibility, transport, education, employment, social integration, information and communication technologies. Up to present, the following cities have been winners. In 2011, Avila, Spain, 2012, Salzburg, Austria, and 2013, Berlin, Germany. We don't have the time to show the film, but I invite you to watch the film by yourself because it's really interesting. And slide 22, conclusions. To conclude, I want to say that not all countries and European regions are providing accessible tourism well and at the same standard due to the lack of access to websites and accessibility information. The customer would get better information from having one site, from having access to a single site. People who are severely disabled have less choice of destinations and products than able-bodied tourists. And the last one, enterprises who understand the problems can succeed in accessible tourism market. And the last slide, please. I would like, thank you very much. Dziękuję bardzo. I would like to thank you for your attention. I do hope that my presentation has helped you to better understand the issues involved in accessible tourism and INAT's leading role. Thank you.
Thank you, Małgorzata. Kas meil on küsimusi?
You can call me, it's better.
I'm sorry?
Margaret, you can call
Margaret.
me Margaret.
Yeah.
It's better to pronounce.
It is. Thank you. Kas meil on küsimusi kellelgi seoses ligipääseva turismiga siis Euroopas ja nii edasi? Inimesel, kellel on päris palju kogemusi, tundub mulle.
Monika.
Nii. Küsimusi võib täitsa vabalt esitada, kui kellelgi on. Vaatame, kas me saame need tõlked värgid tööle kiiresti. Okei, suurepärane, palun.
Meelis Joost uuesti puuetega inimeste kojast, et kas Eestist ka on mõni ENAT-i liige olemas, et on teil Eestist liige? aitäh.
I am the only member from Poland, so it's... Of course, you have to pay a fee for the membership, so maybe that's the problem.
Niimoodi? Kas meil kellelgi on veel küsimusi? Ma esitaks võib-olla küsimuse, see oli siis eesti keeles, eks ole. Ma panin tähele, et te mainisite seal, et need grupid on, kui ma nüüd õigesti aru sain, siis rahastatud selliste random eriliste või nende nii-öelda rahastustega. Kui lihtne või kui teie kogemused või kui keeruline on saada näiteks sellist tuge, kui me tahame, keegi siin erivajadustega inimene tahab, ma ei tea, minna Austraaliasse või Uus-Meremaale või Berliini või kuhu iganes?
To Australia, I was traveling alone, and it was an individual visit, really. So it's nothing to do with my business.
Aga üleüldse, et küsimus oli siis see, et kas ma sain õigesti aru, et on erinevad fondid, kes siis rahastavad ka selliseid võimalusi või saime täiesti valesti aru asjast?
Oh, yeah, but you know, I am the enterprise, I'm not a foundation. So the foundations have to find the money by themselves. I don't get any support. So the foundation comes to me with the money from the project. But as I know, it's not very easy to get, because it involves a lot of writing, a lot of papers and a lot of documents. And for example, now I'm just preparing a tour within Poland, the Baltic Sea, and the foundation is applying for the money, and I need to reserve everything in advance, and they will know if they get the money in July, and the tour is in September, so it's really not very easy. I don't know whether you meant that.
Selge, aitäh!